Good evening and welcome to the Story of America. Tonight, with me and my co host Rhett, who seems to be having some issues with his camera. I guess he hasn't fixed the kinks in his stuff yet since we moved over to the new system. There you are.
Hold that noise.
Rhett, I know you're not going to like this. I got to do it because I'm finally back on Facebook Live, everybody. And, I love wrestling. And so I found the perfect wrestling theme song to commemorate my return to Facebook Live. I'm not going to play the whole thing, just the first 20 seconds. Any wrestling fan to get this. You won't get it because you're not a wrestling fan. I'm back, and I'm better than ever. I'm next for making things better. There we go. I'm back after 30 days in Facebook jail. I have returned. And you know what? You know what, Rhett? I, uh, I probably stretched myself a bit thin tonight because I got a show to do immediately after we finish this show. But I just had to do that because I'm back from Facebook jail. Eric Bischoff, one of the best uh, heels when it comes to general managers of all time. So, Rhett,
Which one of these? No, forget it. Whatever. I
what
guess it doesn't matter.
are you
So
mirroring yourself again?
yeah. Well,
It looks better without the mirror, just
this
so
is
you
how
know.
I would describe you in your continual antics on Facebook, getting banned and stuff. You know
Here
those
we go
drug.
again.
You know those drug dealers that ride around in big Cadillacs with rims on them,
Yeah,
screaming
yeah.
out, "Hey, I'm a drug dealer." That's basically what they're telling the police. That's you on Facebook.
Are you trying
You're
to
just
say
saying,
that?
"Hey, Facebook, ban me."
Are you
You
trying
know
to
you
say
have a
that I'm
target on your
asking
back.
for it?
Yeah, I am because
Hey, look, you know what?
you don't try not to get banned,
Well, it's not like I'm out there trying to get banned.
but you
I'm
know
just,
what will cause it.
I'm just not. How do I put it? I'm. I get tired of watching what I say to people because I figure
Well,
people's.
yeah,
You know what? I guess it's my fault for thinking that grown people have skin as thick as mine. I guess it's my fault for thinking that we're all adults on Facebook. But, ladies and gentlemen, I am
oh
back.
man,
So we are now streaming to all of our services. YouTube, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, the Facebook page, my page. You can find us everywhere. Serve America, Payson Williams, and then you can also uh, like, share, and download our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Your sister's ass, the Pony Express. It doesn't matter where you find it. We're going to be
yeah,
there.
you said you got that from somebody else. Like, why don't you try to be original?
I like it. It's funny.
But it's not original.
Yeah, it's
You
no. It's
know,
just,
I could equate basically commenting with people on Facebook. It's basically it's the modern equivalent. Well, it's not the modern equivalent, but it's an addition to speaking or using the tongue. And James chapter 3 has a great lesson about that.
oh, I didn't peg you as a preacher, right?
Well, we've had this discussion before, man. Come on. I
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
I
I know
did.
all about your background. I mean, you know about my background in the church. I know your background in the church, uh, and so I know obviously that you've got a good message. So lay it on me. The story here with James.
Oh, James is one of my favorite books, if not number one favorite. Chapter 3 is all about that. You know,
My
my
favorite is
brethren, be not many
two.
masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but I'm sure you're familiar with this
Of,
passage.
of course. My favorite.
So just
My
learn
favorite.
how to control yourself better when it comes to that.
I posted those Homelander memes on there because and I was gonna post the one with Homelander on top of the building jerking off, saying I can do whatever the fuck I want, but I said no. You know what?
You can, but it's not beneficial, and it's not just you that you're affecting.
Exactly. That's what I said. I have to regulate myself for the greater good of the business. And as the face
And
of
Not just the business,
And
also your moral character too. That's the bigger one.
well, I didn't think anything was wrong with my moral character with the comments I posted, but yeah,
Come on now.
I mean,
We know.
when telling somebody to defend themselves, I don't know, but we're not going to get into that. So, you know what? I figured I wanted to talk about this time of year because I've been waiting for this time of year all year long. I love the autumn. I love when we finally got that nice autumn brisk that came down and swept me off my feet a couple of days ago. And so I wanted to talk about your feelings on this season. Are you an autumn season guy, Rhett?
Absolutely. Yes. This is my favorite time of year.
Ah,
It
another one.
really has, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that my birthday is in October. That's a plus, I suppose.
My
But
birthday's in November.
I've gotten to the point where I don't necessarily look forward to my birthdays anymore
I, I've
because
never.
it
Well,
reminds me that, time just keeps going.
yeah, if you're already thinking about getting old, yeah. But you
Yeah,
know what?
well, I'll be 28. Like, what happened in my 20s? I'm already
I'll
like,
I'll be right there with you. At
yeah,
least we're not Burleson. He'll be 29 in January.
yeah. It's just there's really after 21, what else do you have to look forward to besides if you have political
Taxes.
aspirations 25 and 30?
After 21, you have taxes to look forward to.
Yeah, something that's actually good. What I'm saying is you can hold office 25, 30, 35, but if most people are not concerned with those sorts of things, then most people, even if they are, won't ever hold office anyway. So there's really
That's true.
nothing.
I love this time of year because I don't know about you, Rhett, but I miss the days when at the start of August they started playing Christmas music. I love the season when you get this feeling in the air, and I don't know about you, but I love the outdoors. Particularly, I love nature, and I love watching the leaves change colors and watching them fall. And so when I get this feeling around me, and I see the leaves changing colors, and then I play all of that nice autumn jazz, which I have an album of autumn jazz that I play on my TV while I'm working all day, and then the Christmas music comes in, and it makes me think of my childhood, which, yeah, I didn't have the best childhood. My childhood wasn't bad. It was fun, and I get to think about all the fun stuff that we did on as a child. We didn't have all the technology that these kids have today, and even the technology that we did have, we weren't allowed to use very often. So we were often outside in the middle of the woods building stuff. I specifically remember Hurricane Katrina, which we have to pay our tributes to the victims in for Hurricane Ian, who really destroyed Fort Worth. Um, but I remember Hurricane Katrina. We were without power for 3 months, and it was around August through December that we were without power. And so I remember them when they came in. They brought all this stuff: plywood, shingles, and nails, and cinder blocks, and all types of stuff. They were going to go put some tarps and stuff up on the house, and because we stayed throughout the whole storm. And I remember my grandmother used to get mad at us because we used to sneak into the tool shed and steal her nails out of the tool shed. We would go take pieces of plywood and run in the middle of the woods and take the plywood and the shingles, and we would go down to Mr. Hunt's house down the street, and we would take stuff out of his salvage yard and run back up to the woods and just start building stuff in the middle of the woods, nailing chandeliers to trees for no apparent reason. And we'd go find all types of bottles that were discarded, and we'd come back there. I remember one time we built a whole church in the middle of the woods. We had a couch back there, a computer back there. Well, we had everything, and then we went and stole some Christmas lights, and we tie them up to some trees, and we had a whole bunch of fun. I don't know. Did you ever get to do stuff like that?
um, yeah, building stuff out of sticks and whatnot. I remember this one time we had this new dog, and he was a Doberman, and I named him Saturn. Which now I look back on that now and think, wow, that was kind of stupid. I wasn't naming him after Saturn the god. I was naming him after the planet, which is named after the god. But anyway, I think we were afraid he was going to attack our other dogs or something, so we built out of sticks like this barricade. And I don't know why we built it. We just built into one spot. I think they were running free, so it's not like it really mattered because you could easily just avoid it. But we weren't thinking that. We were thinking, we're gonna we're gonna make him. If he tries to come after our other dogs, he's gonna pop his pads on these sticks. We called it a pad popper.
A pad popper.
Yes.
uh, that kind of reminds me. Of, I take my dog outside right across the street to go to go pee and poop and stuff, and during the day, especially now that the temperature's good, I take my beach chair and I go over there and I sit down. I take her off her collar and let her run around, and you know I I'm from the country, so I love walking outside, no shoes on, all the things. But the thing I always used to hate about walking outside with no shoes on when I was uh when I was visiting Gulfport was because when I would go visit my granny, and she used to live down here in Gulfport, uh, and I would go outside in her yard, and I would always step on those little stickers, the ones that are circular and with the
Yeah.
prickles on them. I will step on those all the time, and so now I'm over there with my dog, and my dog, she comes back to me limping, and I pick her up and I look at the bottom of her feet, and there's those fucking stickers on the bottom of the dog's feet. So she stepped on some pad, what do you call them? Some pad stickers, some pads.
How did you forget what I said that fast?
I don't know.
I said
I'm old.
pad poppers.
Yeah, she stepped on some pad poppers. Okay, and so I got to take him off of her. But and my dog, apparently she likes this time of year too because she's so energetic when I take her outside. Now she loves it, and I love it too because it's going to make my energy bill cheaper because I don't use the air conditioning during the day most of the time. So when it's colder outside, I don't have to worry about using the AC. I can just open a window. Especially because my electric bill this month is $240. It's ridiculous.
Got to get out of that place.
And you know what? You know how it got to be that high? So I paid it out of my bank account, and Mississippi Power today sent me the confirmation email saying that they took the money out of the account. And so on the bill, they said that they returned the money, and they didn't send any emails out to say that they returned it. And so then they're charging me for returning it with the exact amount that they returned. So I paid them 90, they returned 90, and then charged me an additional 90 for returning it. Makes no sense. They didn't tell me why they returned it. I tried to pay it out my bank account because the last time I paid it, I usually call them on the phone and pay the bill, bill matrix and all that nonsense, and they charged me like $10 to pay the bill over the phone. I'm like, why do I have to pay extra money? So I said, I'll just pay it out my bank account, and so I pay out of the account, and then they tell me that I couldn't pay the other amount out of my account because I had already paid out of my account that day. And I'm like, well, this makes sense. So I said, okay, I'll move the money over to my savings account and pay it out of my savings account. And that's what I did. And they took it and then put it back. I'm like, what the hell? Then you're gonna charge me? Yeah. You know, and then $156 is what they're charging me normally for my energy bill. And I'm sitting there like, what the hell? Most of the time I have nothing going on in here, uh, except for my computer, which I never turn off. But my computer goes on sleep mode when I'm not on it, and I don't have any lights on in here except for at nighttime. Once, because I love a house with a lot of windows because I love natural light, and so I open the windows, the blinds, to get natural light in here during the day. So I don't have my lamps on. I don't have my lights on, and so at nighttime I turn my lamps on, and the only time you see this overhead light on is when I do the show, because obviously give me some better lighting. I have two lamps in front of me, one on this side over here. That is the lamp that I usually use when I'm working, and this lamp here just provides a nice light side for this side. I have uh, a lamp light in front on the back side of the computer with a lens over a white piece, and then I got a piece of paper taped over the lens to diffuse the light so that when it hits me, it's not bouncing and shining in my eyes. So it just makes it looks like a better lighting for filming. And so that's it. And I don't even like to turn on the light that I got the paper in from, because this light is very, very hot. It has a big heat problem. So I'm planning on buying another light, because I don't this one, it bothers me so much because it makes it so hot. And but other than that, nothing's really ever on in here. And they charged me $156 a month, when at my old apartment, which was 2-3 times the size of this one, I never paid more than $67. Now Trump was in office at the time, so take that as you will. But I never paid more than $67 a month. But so what other topics have you got for me tonight? I know we talked about genealogy last weekend. Did you find out anything interesting? I was going to go do the ancestry thing, but I forgot.
I don't know where I was last time. What did I talk about last time?
Jimmy Carter. Well, you told us that you found out that you're related to Hamilton, uh, but you sent me a message on Facebook that you're related to
Yeah.
Jimmy
Did I
Carter.
tell you how um, that connection is through my mother's father's mother? So that would be my grandfather's mother. That line, and I think it's my eighth great grandfather. So great times eight, because it's stupid to just keep saying great over and over again, is William Hamilton, which was the brother of James A. Hamilton, who's Alexander Hamilton, his father. Although there's many, many on both sides. I've got back to Clan Hamilton, just two different branches on both sides of my family in Scotland, and they use the same names over and over again. There's a ton of Alexanders, a ton of Jameses, a ton of Johns. Um, although my middle name is not, well, you could see it as a strange coincidence, right? But it's
Well,
not. I'm not named
I say,
after him. That my
you know what?
grandfather or great grandfather, his name was David Alexander Burris. I don't know who he was named after, but that's where I got mine.
Well, you know that we don't believe in coincidences when it comes to naming. We had a whole discussion about how the importance of names and how and what they mean, and the simple fact that we seem to have gone and dabbled into the footsteps, footprints, should I say, of the founding fathers, particularly Hamilton and Madison. Recently, when we've been discussing the Federalist Papers, which, by the way, I have printed out all of them, and for reference, I want to show you this here. Let me get up for a second. Now, now bear in mind that this isn't all of them. This is about half of them because the other half is in my drawer. This is the federal. It's all three. It's the 300 pages of Federalist Papers that I printed out on my printer. You know, you could you could hurt somebody with this. You could slap somebody and knock some teeth out with all of this paper. But
I did finish listening to it.
I finished
Oh,
reading
no. I don't think I finished it. I think I have like 2 or 3 left, actually. Oh, Jimmy Carter was the last one I told you.
Yeah, you told me on Facebook.
Did I tell you John Adams and Samuel Adams?
No, you didn't tell me about John Adams.
And of course John Quincy by proxy.
Well, John Adams,
they're-
John Quincy,
they're more-
of course, you know.
They would be third cousins 10 times removed. Because,
And that obviously
because they lived so long ago, that's why they're 10 times removed.
And that's obviously where your connection to Samuel Adams comes to, since he was the cousin of John Adams.
Yeah, well, they're both third cousins 10 times removed. But they were personally second cousins.
And then, of course, John Quincy Adams
yeah.
is the son of John Adams. You know,
Also found a connection to Daniel Boone on my dad's side.
you racist.
What?
Next thing you're going to tell me is that you're related to David Duke.
I am. I thought I told you that.
I think you did. I might have just forgot.
I don't know exactly. I don't know really how close it is, but my great grandmother on my dad's side, her maiden name was Dukes. But you know, Dukes, whatever. They are related somewhere back in there. But I don't know how close it is. I didn't find the connection or anything. I just assumed that, really.
Could be the Dukes of Hazzard. Yeah. You know, when was the last time you seen the Dukes of Hazzard? I haven't watched it in
I've never seen it.
I haven't watched it since I was a child. You know, and I used to see it on TV, but obviously because of the Confederate flag and all that bullshit, they decided they don't want to air it on television as much as they used to anymore.
That's the reason?
Yeah, because of the fucking Confederate flag. So they don't want to air it. They don't want to put it on TV as much anymore. Because, you know, the Confederate flag is on the truck, you know, on the front.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I get it. Honestly, I'm not a fan of it. I've never seen the show, but I'm saying I'm not really a fan of the Confederate flag. I don't really care about it one way or the other. I think that changing the Mississippi flag was fine. I mean, it was about time. It looked kind of bad.
I had no problem with the Mississippi flag. I don't think it. I don't think
the
anybody
principle
really
is
had a
that
problem.
everybody else that had it on their flag changed it, and leaving us as the only ones. Plus, it's not like it was a Mississippi flag anyway. It had nothing to do with the state of Mississippi.
Confederate flag.
It wasn't even a Confederate flag.
Exactly. But the thing is that nobody ever fucking talked about it. And then all of a sudden the media comes up and says that that Mississippi's racist because of the flag, and then the next thing you know, all the black folks are like, "Oh, the flag, the flag, the flag." I'm like, I've been living with you people all my life, and never once did you open your mouth to talk about the damn flag until the white masters in Washington D.C. told you to.
Well, people did have it. That actually does go back quite a while. There was a vote back in 2000. It just seems like it was time.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I wish they would have chose a better flag. I don't like.
Yeah, there was a lot of better options than the one they chose.
Yeah, this one looks a little gay.
It just seemed very uncreative. There was a lot of better ones.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. Yeah, they could have did better. Yeah.
What it did, I think it just served to reinforce negative stereotypes about the South, especially Mississippi. Since every other southern state that had it in their flag changed it, and it was just leaving us with it. I feel like it was kind of embarrassing.
I don't know. I never had an opinion on it. I always liked the Mississippi flag.
I'm not
But
really. I don't think about flags that often. Like I don't
yeah,
think,
I mean,
oh, the
I don't.
flags are so cool. Like honestly, the only reason I have the American flag up here is not because I think it looks cool. It's because I'm patriotic.
To you,
But I'm not overly patriotic though. I'm
it's
just
not.
patriotic enough.
It's not even that for me. The only reason why I have a copy of the American flag is because somebody gave it to me. I don't go out actively buying flags. It's not my thing. I
I don't
don't like.
either.
I don't like. For me, I guess you might say I'm a bit plain when it comes to things, but I don't like patterned clothing. I don't like blankets or anything that have designs on it. I want stuff to just be one solid color, maybe two or three solid colors, and it's it. I don't need a design on my stuff. I can go right now and buy a a blanket that's the Confederate flag, but like I would never use it. I just don't like designs on clothing. I think it's stupid. But
Honestly, that people who ride around with the Confederate flag, I just feel like it. This is what people automatically think when they see that. Oh, that's a trashy redneck. I'm not saying that's what I think, but that's what the majority of people who are not that also think.
you know what I think when I
That's a
see
first
somebody
impression.
that drives around with a Confederate flag? I said to myself, that guy is a fan of the Hazards because that's what I think that most of the people who've seen the Confederate flag even saw it from was the Hazard. So, and the most time they have on their trucks and stuff, I'm like, oh, yeah, look, they got tires, the mud, Dukes of that. That's what I think.
I can't even speak on that because I've never seen it before. I
No,
don't like
it's
I
a
don't like
wild.
the name. The name is cringy. I don't. I honestly I hate the title Duke.
Duke and Duchess. I mean, those are some pretty good titles
I
of
know.
nobility.
I'd rather be a count.
Would you? Oh, I was going to say, would you rather be an earl
No, I don't like Earl either. I'd rather be a count.
or a viscount?
Well, an Earl is the same rank as a count,
Yeah, an earl and a count are practically interchangeable.
but count is cooler. I don't know why. I just counts over a county.
Well, what
But we
about
don't
this?
have
If you
counts
you
anymore. We have counties with no counts.
you don't like Duke, but what about an archduke?
I don't know, dude. It still has the word Duke in it.
An Archduke Frederick Ferdinand, or
Archduke. I usually say arch. Arch. But I don't say that when I say archangel. I don't say archangel.
yeah, Archduke Frederick Ferdinand. You know, I don't. When Duke sounds it's too
France.
close. It's too close to Deuce. It's close to especially when you're younger. Remember, you used to say take a Dookie. So when you say Duke, it just kind of throws
That's my mind makes that
kind of
connection. That's why I really hate it.
kind of throws it off. You are the Duke. Yeah,
I think the coolest like emperor is a lot cooler than king.
you know what I prefer the original Latin version of emperor, which of course is imperator. That was actually going to be Tyrannosaurus Rex's
Pontiff
name.
Maximus. I also
Tyr-
think the word pope is stupid. Like pope,
Tyrannosaurus Rex's
popery.
name was originally going to be Dinosaurus Imperiosus. That was the original name for Tyrannosaurus Rex.
So why did they change it or settle
Um,
on
the,
Rex?
the guy decided to change it because he said that this was going to be the largest meat-eating dinosaur ever made, so he decided to make him king. But Dinosaurus meant that he was Dinosaurus Imperiosus meant he was the emperor of all dinosaurs. But I guess Tyrant Lizard King just sounded better.
He is menacing, right? What they always make like in all the movies where there's T Rexes, they all roar.
Yeah.
Like T-Rexes really wouldn't have been doing that.
Well, they would have,
Well,
but it would
they
have
probably
sounded a
wouldn't have
lot
been. They
different.
probably wouldn't have been able to roar like that.
It probably, oh, they would have been able to. It would have been a lot
They
different
would have
though.
made those. Have you?
It would have been like an elephant when they bellow really, really loudly. But at the same time, it could also be very similar to what crocodilians do.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I've watched a video that was like they'd probably make those like guttural kind of like noises that you feel really rather than hear.
Yes, and it would be you would feel it for quite a distance. They'd probably be able to do it. You know, an elephant can use its trunk and kind of blow a low frequency sound into the ground that can be felt for I think almost 10 miles rate circumference. Might might be a little off on that, but they can do that, and that's how they are able to connect their herds together to know where they're going. And I feel Tyrannosaurus Rex, other large dinosaurs, particularly sauropod dinosaurs, would probably do the same thing, where they could make a low frequency uh, sound that would travel through the ground and coordinate them for quite a while.
What did they use to make the roar
For
in
Tyrannosaurus
Jurassic
Rex,
Park? Yeah, Jurassic
um,
Park. I
T
once knew.
Rex's roar was made from baby elephants, lions, and a dog playing with a dog toy, and a couple other sounds. The raptors were made from high pitched altered dolphin vocalizations.
That's weird. You remember what they used to make the Godzilla roar? Wasn't it like a glove and a violin or something?
Ah, yeah, I think so. You know, the Godzilla roar is still iconic as hell, though.
Did it have the same roar in the New York Godzilla, or was it a different roar? I don't remember.
It was a slightly different roar, um, because of Toei, not because of Toei Animations and Heisei animations studios. They had to use a slightly different roar, otherwise they would have got a copyright thing if they used the exact Godzilla roar. So they used it was a similar one, but it was completely digital. It was completely made digitally.
I was never a really big Godzilla fan like Adam was.
Oh, Adam was the biggest Godzilla fan of all time, probably. I think he has every single Godzilla film and memorabilia that ever came out. He even knew the exact Hanna Barbera Godzilla. Uh, you remember that cartoon, the Hanna Barbera Godzilla cartoon? When they used to be on the ship in the middle of the ocean and they pushed the button whenever they ran into a big monster and they pushed the button and Godzilla would come up and save the day.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember it. I haven't even. I forgot all about that.
Oh man, I love Hanna Barbera cartoons. I go back and watch them all the time.
Hanna Barbera.
William Hanna and Joseph Barbara.
What
You know,
didn't they do something else like major? Didn't they have? I don't know. Didn't they do something other than just make cartoons?
well, they pretty much were the face of Warner Brothers for a time. But their claim to fame was the cartoons. Hanna Barbera revolutionized cartoons animation. I mean,
They
I
made what?
mean,
Scooby Doo,
just look at their catalog: the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Scooby
Scoobert.
Doo, Adamant, Hong Kong Fooey, the Wacky Races, Dick Dastardly,
Did they do Speed
Godzilla.
Racer?
They did Speed Racer. Just about any cartoon you can think of before, hell, even when we were born, was Hanna Barbera. Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo, the Powerpuff Girls, even.
They do Samurai Jack.
No, they didn't do Samurai Jack.
Dude, I thought the Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, and Samurai Jack was all the same person,
No,
or maybe it was the same artist. I don't know.
probably the same artist, but Samurai Jack was different. They weren't by Barbara. And then do you know there was another good cartoon maker back in the day too? But their cartoons were so much more cheesy than Hanna Barbera's. You remember the Filmation? Filmation made the He-Man and the She-Ra and the Thundercats cartoons, which were kind of stiff animations.
Yeah, He Man basically. it's really good for memes nowadays.
Oh, I love the old Masters of the Universe ones. I love the theme song. Oh, Hanna Barbera, another one. They did Captain Planet. I forgot about that. They did Captain Planet. They did Two Stupid Dogs.
The
Super Secret
original,
Squirrel.
the original climate conspiracy show,
Yeah,
propaganda.
you know, Hanna Barbera did a lot.
Captain Planet.
Johnny
That's what
Quest.
everybody like.
Uh, they did
Johnny Test.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Space Ghost, the Herculoids. I
That
mean,
was a weird show.
I used to love Space Ghost Coast to Coast. When I was younger, my aunt she used to tell me about how I used to get in trouble because I would stay up all night, and she'd be telling me to go to bed, and I'd be up, run up in there, let's get in the bed, and then I'd run back into the living room saying, "Here's Johnny," because the Johnny Carson show would be on, and I'm supposed to be asleep. So when Space Ghost Coast to Coast came out, that was like the Johnny Carson for me as a kid. I guess I watched Space Ghost Coast to Coast. She's watching Johnny Carson, so I go to sleep before she does, and she's satisfied with that.
What was that thing that was like the alien thing that was on that show with him?
Brack.
Yeah,
You
dude, he
have you
was.
have
Well, that used to
Brack,
scare
one
the
that was
hell
a
out of me as
dog,
a kid.
and
It
I
used to
can't
scare
remember the
me.
name of the mantis thing. I can't remember the name
I
of the
don't know,
mantis
but
thing. I
that thing,
know
the brat, dude, that scared the hell out of me.
the I know the Brack, the one with the weird hair, looked kind of
And the
like
green
a Kiss
eyes and like,
reject.
yeah,
Yeah,
he was like red.
yeah, I remember. I remember, yeah, I remember Brack, but I can't remember the Mantis guy's name. I think his name's like Zordar or Xandar or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
I probably don't remember it as much because I know what you're talking about, but it didn't scare me as much as the brat thing did.
Now I'll tell you what scared the hell out of me, which obviously we talked about this before. I used to be terrified of watching Courage the Cowardly Dog. That show
You
was
know what
not
Noah
meant for
used to
kids.
call it? Noah used to
What,
call it Cowie Dog.
Cow the dog?
Cowie Dog.
Cowie dog.
Yeah, Hank the Cow
I
Dog,
mean,
right?
I avoided Courage the Cowardly Dog for a long time until I got older and realized how ahead of its time Courage the Cowardly Dog was.
Tuna Squaw. That's what we always thought. That I think I told you this before. The
Return
Return
to
of Stone, dude.
slab.
Yeah, we always for years we called it the Tuna Squaw.
The
The
tuna
Tuna
squad.
Squaw. Yeah, Tuna Squaw. Tuna Squaw.
Return to slab.
Dude,
Or face your doom. Or something like that. I used to remember Eustace like,
yeah, it
yeah,
was
what
something
of
like
it?
that. It's like as a kid you mishear so much stuff, but
Oh
maybe we
yeah.
misheard more stuff than like because Tuna Squaw. That's pretty. That's not even close to what he really said.
But they used to put so much adult stuff up in those shows that went over our heads when we were kids though.
Yeah, especially Return the Stone. That's really hard to decipher. It sounds just like Tuna Squaw.
Yeah, tuna squad. Uh, and then I remember watching Dexter's
Dude,
Lab, and
you
I
remember
used to believe I could have an actual laboratory under the house, but no, could never
remember
get the things to go up.
remember the cat on Courage the Cowardly Dog that every time he showed up it would go like
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Yeah, I remember the one when he played the bouncy ball game against the wall with Courage, but it wasn't a ball; it was a spider. He was trying to get the spider to bite Courage. I remember that. Oh man, those were good. Those were good days when
the
cartoons were good.
song would freak me out. I don't know why.
Do you know the one that freaked me out? Remember the guy who used to come over there and he was gonna cut Courage's hair, and he used to smile all the time. That big creepy smile, and I used to play that song when he would come there.
Oh,
Jeez, what was his name? Let me see. The creepy guy from Courage. Let me find it here. Courage the Cowardly Dog. I think his name is Frank. Fred's his name. Fred. Remember this theme song? Remember this theme song? Listen, remember this, Fred.
Um,
Listen.
dude, yeah.
I used to get
What is
terrified
that
seeing this
from?
guy.
What is that?
That's
Where is that?
that's Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah,
That's
but isn't
Fred,
that
the guy.
that melody? Doesn't it come from somewhere else though?
I don't know. It might come from the Haunting or something. You know that old show, that old movie. What was it? The old movie, uh, The Conjuring. I think it was that old movie. But man, that used to terrify me. I hated that guy because he looked so creepy with that big freaky smile and everything. But you know what I used to love watching though is you remember when you watch Johnny Bravo, and after during the middle, you know, they had a difference in the middle of Johnny Bravo. No, not Johnny Bravo. It was Cow and Chicken. And in the
I
middle of
hated
Cow
that
and
show,
Chicken,
dude.
no, but in the middle of Cow and Chicken, you would get I Am Weasel and IR Baboon. And I used to love watching I Am Weasel and IR Baboon. Oh, that was a good one.
I don't remember that. IR Baboon and
Oh,
I Am
listen
Weasel.
to it. I'll play the song. Let me see if I can find it. I Am Weasel. I Am Weasel. The theme song. Here it is. Here it is. The I Am Weasel intro. Listen. You don't need pants for the dance. Baboon's better than Weasel. I am Baboon, big star cartoon. I am Weasel.
Ooh.
Weasel. Oh man, I used to love watching that little part. And then you know, Con Chicken had that red thing, that red devil that he was walking on his ass. Used to creep me out too.
The what?
You didn't watch Con Chicken as much as I did, but there was this red devil pig thing, and he was always naked. And he was red, and he used to jump around, and he used to walk on his ass. Like he had feet, but he'd sit there and jump and bounce on his ass, and he'd walk on his ass all the time. He
I'd
was
probably
just
remember it if I saw it. I don't offhand
he,
remember.
he was just weird. I think you know what? I think his name was Red Guy. Let me see if I can find it. Red
Red
Guy.
guy.
There, yeah, there it is, right there. Red Guy, Cow and Chicken. There it is, the Red Guy. Let me share my screen and I'll show you. Share my screen. We're going to share Microsoft Edge tab right there. See this right here? Red Guy.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
The the Red Guy. And I remember him used to scare me too. Do you remember him?
Him, yeah, 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 with the
Yeah,
crab claws. Yeah.
yeah. Him used to scare me too. But you know, I watched a lot more cartoons than you did because you didn't watch Codename Kiss Next Door like I did.
I did watch it. I just didn't like it.
I loved it. I used to love Father. What's it? Um, the red guy who used to set on fire all the time. I used to love watching that one, and I used to love watching the uh what was another good one? I don't know. I don't know. There was a lot of good ones. You know, Cartoon Network was where I watched most of my stuff. Burleson watched Disney Channel growing up all the time. He was Brandy and Mr. Whiskers and what was the other one? Dave the Barbarian and uh I can't remember that many of the Disney ones. I know Burleson used to love Zach and Cody. Uh,
It's not a
but
cartoon, and I didn't like Disney Channel at all.
the only things on Disney Channel that I really watched was X Men, Uh, I watched X Men. I watched Chip and Dale. I watched the Hercules TV show. And the not Lion King, Timon and Pumbaa TV show. That's what I watched on Disney Channel. But at the same time, remember when we were younger, uh, we didn't get to have cable television very often, so we got to see things on Saturday morning cartoons. Four kids would come on, and we would get to watch Sonic Underground. Noah hated Sonic Underground, I think, because I used to bother him all the time with Sonic Underground. But I remember watching Sonic Underground and the Saturday morning cartoons. Um, uh, I remember watching Pokemon, the original one. I remember on Four Kids, when you used to be on Four Kids, you would watch the movie that came on before everything. The Four Kids had its own little animation movie that come on. I remember all of those good stuff. But they don't have the same quality of television that we have on for cartoons. And I love cartoons, but I can't watch any of the cartoons they have on TV nowadays. It's just not good.
I outgrew cartoons a long time ago. I hate adult cartoons more than anything. I think it's
I
just
like
super.
a I like adult cartoons, but not the Family Guy type cartoons. I like Futurama. I love Futurama. I think it was the best of the Simpsons type of cartoons. I think Futurama was the best one. But I liked Adult Swim. I loved watching Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I loved watching that one. C Lab 2021. I loved watching that one. Uh, and I love the Robot Chicken. The little clips of Robot Chicken. Those were
Some of
pretty
those were
good.
funny, I guess. I like the Star Wars ones.
The ones I like was the humping robot.
Nothing.
The robot just walks around humping everything, humping vacuum cleaners and um
That doesn't sound funny to me at all.
that the funniest one to me was that car from that Lindsay Lohan movie, that car that used to be able to talk. And this one night, the humping robot walked in there and started humping the car.
I don't think I don't know if I've seen that or not. I didn't
That
watch it that much. Most of the clips that I've seen from Robot Chicken have been like on YouTube. Dude,
all the funny
you
ones
remember
were.
Bobo?
I remember Boba Bo. I hated Boba Bo.
I thought that was the funniest show ever, dude. I thought it was hilarious.
I hated Boba Bo because I couldn't say the name when I was younger. I was like
Bobo.
I was like,
I
what
still
is
trouble
this?
saying it, dude.
Boba Bo.
Bo.
I used to like Shin Chan. That's what I used to like. Shin Chan. I used to
I
like
don't
that
know.
one. A little little fucking child, weird animations, little noodle arms. You know what I hated though? The one I hated, I'm pretty sure you probably love this one because this one sounds like it's up your alley. But the one I hated was Home Movies. Hated that one.
I don't even know what that is, dude.
You don't
Home
remember that one?
movies.
Oh
No.
man, let me see. You'll remember it if you see a picture of it. I'm pretty sure you loved it though. Home Movies.
I don't even remember what it is. How could I love it if I don't even
Let me see the cartoon because it just sounds like something that you would have watched because it's got your type of it's got it. I don't know. It just reminds me of you. Let me see if I can find a good image of it. Let me let me share my screen with you. See if this jogs any memories. I hated the show. Where is it? Where is it? There it is, right there. See, did any of this ring a bell?
No.
So you didn't watch it. I hated it. I hated this.
Dude, that's terrible illustration.
I know that's why I hated it. And then, but they were all supposed
That's offensive? Why would you think I would like something like that? You
because
insult me.
they were supposed to be all sophisticated and all talking
You
about
can clearly see that they are not sophisticated.
no, they were supposed to be talking all politics and all liberal stuff. You know how liberal you were back then. They're all like
No, dude, I
taxes,
was never.
theft,
What are
and
you
all types
talking
of
about?
stuff.
That's
You were
not.
much more liberal when you were younger.
No, I was more conservative.
Well, they were all taxation and theft, and
That's
it was
not
so
liberal.
monotone, and
I mean, it's
it
traditionally
was.
liberal, but it's not really liberal now.
I'm talking Libertarian Party liberal, not liberal like the crazies today.
That's a leftist.
Well,
We
they're
all
the
know.
liberals of today, but you know what I mean. Classical liberal. Okay, I will
Honestly,
go that way.
dude, they could be talking about whatever they want. I can't look at that for like too long, or my brain
I
will break.
yeah, it was such weird graphics. It was really weird, and it was so boring to me anyway because their voice was like this. Hey, uh, are you gonna use that, man? Taxation is stuff. You really should stop doing that. Kind of reminds me of kind of the way that daughter from Bob's Burgers talks. I don't watch the show, but I've seen her talk, and she sounds
Like a
very
dude.
monotone. Yeah, like a dude, very monotone. Everybody sounded like that on that home movie show. They're all monotone and like that,
That sounds horrible.
and it bothered me, and so I didn't really get to watch it all. I didn't watch it a lot, but this is the reason why I wanted to talk about this type of the year because it brings all these memories back. Because I remember specifically this time of year doing that because especially during Thanksgiving week, the holiday we go off for school, and I'd be up at my granny's house, and we'd be up there. I'd be in there just watching cartoons all week. Go outside, play in the middle of the yard, get on top of the roof, and fix leaks on top of the roof and stuff. But most of the time, I was in the den watching cartoons on Cable One, which now they have Xfinity. But I remember just sitting there watching cartoons on Channel 45 all day. What's what's your best memory from this time of year?
I don't know, dude. I don't have anything to stand. I really have to think about that. I don't know what happened this time of year or any of the prior years of my life. All of my birthdays pretty much.
You got to have birthday parties. I didn't.
I didn't have a birthday party every year. When I was younger, I had
I,
more, but now,
I think by the time I turned like 7, I didn't have any more birthday parties. I remember that I had birthday parties when I was young, because I remember getting a birthday cake with Pikachu on it. Like the toys, the Pikachu toy, and I remember I remember getting a birthday cake with Super Saiyan and Goku and Vegeta and Trunks fighting on top of the cake. And I remember a Scooby Doo cake. But those are the only cakes I can remember. And then after I turned like 7, I never had another birthday party in my life because it was always Thanksgiving. So I just went for Thanksgiving and had Thanksgiving dinner. And to compensate for not having a cake, I just got a lot of money. You know, I never had friends over to my birthday parties because it was always during the holidays. So never had any friends. So I never had friends over at period. You know, but
I
see
hate how
you.
my birthday is always overshadowed by Halloween because I really don't like Halloween. I don't really, I don't, I don't care about it really one way or the other, but I'm just not obsessed with it like some people are.
You don't like to dress up?
No, dude. When I was a kid, I did, but I don't really. I find Halloween to be boring and also unhealthy.
Unhealthy? You don't like candy?
Doesn't matter whether I like it or not. It's just sugar, dude. It's an objective fact
Moderation.
that it's unhealthy.
Moderation.
I can't look. when it comes to sugar,
You're like
I
me, right?
can't.
You can't you
I
can't
can't. I
moderate.
just stop. Well, we've had this discussion before. If I had a box of Twinkies, the only thing that stops me from eating them is I run out.
You know what? It's funny you say that. I had a box of chocolate chip. They're right down on the floor. Actually, I had a box of chocolate chip cream pies, all of them on the same day, and then a box of oat cream pies over there my by my TV, and I've been on those like sometimes I have treats like I would eat those instead of cooking. So yeah, I get you. I get you. It's unhealthy for people like us, but I may like dressing up as an adult. As a child, I never got to.
Well, what would you dress up as a grown adult?
I don't know, dress up as a knight, as a king. Feel. Well, I dress up as a king every day anyway. But you know, dress up. Dress up as a king, a knight, or a samurai. Have a legitimate reason to walk outside with my sword on my waist.
Wear some 18th century garb.
Yes,
Some
indeed.
18th century
When
Englishman, proper.
when men's clothing was fashionable.
I don't. The thing I would not want to do is wear a powdered wig. That would be embarrassing.
I would love to wear a powder wig.
I just think that
Oh,
style back then was just so
I
stupid.
you know I would love to wear a powdered wig and wear those shoes and those pants where I can tuck my socks into my where I can tuck my pants into my socks and then walk around and cane somebody in broad daylight.
Yeah, you know who did that? Not. I'm not talking about the senator or whoever it was that did that, or Andrew Jackson. I'm talking about um, Mr. Hyde.
Mr.
Yeah.
Dr. Jekyll,
He
Mr.
caned a
Hyde.
woman to death, and secretly, of course, it was also Dr. Jekyll, but he didn't know.
Dr. Jekyll is his actual name.
Okay, but I'm never gonna say that.
It,
I don't care.
Robert Louis Stevenson says that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. But
Okay,
everybody
but
call
if he
it,
well, if he wanted to be pronounced like that, he should have put two e's. I'm saying Jekyll, and I don't care.
they pronounce Jekyll in the movie, but afterwards it's called a Jekyll.
Dr. Jekyll.
Did you ever play Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the game?
No, I was unaware of the existence of such an atrocity.
I learned about the game watching the Angry Video Game Nerd, and I have to say, the Angry Video Game Nerd hates the game. I find it rather peaceful. It's
Well,
it,
what do you-
it's kind of like it's kind of to me it's kind of like playing a game that's not really supposed to be a game. It's supposed to be like say for instance, if you played the water level from Donkey Kong Country, and that's the only level you ever played, it had that peaceful music and it was just it. Well, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde is sort of the same way, except the later you get onto it, the peaceful music and all of that seemingly nothing happened type of stuff starts to make you mad when people start dropping bombs on the road right next to you. And John gets blown up and then turns into Mr. Hyde. And then if Mr. Hyde reaches the same spot where Jekyll died, Mr. Hyde dies, and then they get game over.
Yeah, like
And
my
so
favorite game, like one of my favorite games back in the early days, the GameCube days. Relatively
I,
speaking, it's the early days for us, the GameCube days.
I
Anyway,
never played the
Pokemon
GameCube actually.
Channel, it was so peaceful and exciting at the
I
same time.
I never played the GameCube. I played the consoles that we had. We had the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, the Atari 2600, the N64, and then I had a Sega Dreamcast, and then we had the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, but we never had GameCube. So my favorite, it's hard for me to say that I have a favorite game. I have a favorite game of every different genre. But if I had to say I had a favorite game, ooh, it would have to be Killer Instinct.
I wasn't saying it was my favorite game of all time. It's just one of my favorite GameCube games. But I don't really have a favorite game of all time either. I hate picking favorites when it comes to anything.
Yeah, I hate picking favorites when it comes to anything except for food.
You know what
I
question I
have
hate the most, dude? What's your favorite song? Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, I can't narrow. I hate that
oh
question with a
I can
passion.
narrow down my favorite song instantly. If somebody asks me what my favorite song is, I will always say Carmina Burana by
This
Carl
is my
Orff.
honest opinion, and I will continue to hold it. I feel like if you have a favorite song, you don't listen to or know enough music.
Well, you know my philosophy about music.
You don't know anything about music. Like, you don't know
I
anything about
listen.
music when it comes to like a diversity, a wide
Yeah,
range of different kinds of music from different eras.
I
I
listen to
just
different
feel like
music
you
from,
don't. If you have one
but
favorite song,
I,
you haven't listened to enough music.
I'm a clear fan of symphonies, and so I will always go for Carmina Burana. The entire thing, the entire hour of Carmina Burana. Not just or Fortuna, which is what most people think Carmina Burana is. It's just one number, but I love the whole thing. Uh, but yeah, I'm similar to you. It's hard for me to pick a favorite, except when it comes to food. If
I don't do
somebody
that
asks me
either.
what
It's
if
just
somebody
like
asks
there's
me what
so
my
much
favorite
food.
food is, if somebody asks me what my favorite food is, I can tell you my favorite food is pinto beans made with ground meat, with rice and cornbread, and for dessert, peach cobbler with a side of ice cream. Doesn't matter what flavor ice cream, it just has to be ice cream. That's my favorite meal of all time.
I can narrow it down to a kind of cuisine, like regional, but
Well, what's your
definitely
favorite regional?
Greek, Lebanese, Mediterranean. And
Mm.
dude, that's been the case for years, a long time. And Emily's grandmother was from Lebanon. So I went to their place one time. She lives in Hattiesburg, and I actually got to eat like authentic Lebanese cuisine
Oh,
cooked by a Lebanese woman.
and you got some Greek in your blood too, don't you? So you got to eat some of your
Uh,
heritage.
I, I don't know if it's Mediterranean, Southern Europe. That's Greece is included in that region, so it's possible.
You know, I got to eat food of my heritage as well because my uncle, one of my uncles, is is from Nigeria, and so one of the things he brought over here was fufu, and I love fufu. Fufu is basically it's basically a dough that's made out of plantains and yucca fruit, and you just pound it with a mallet until it becomes into a very sticky dough, and then you make uh, a meat soup sort of thing, and you take your fingers and you grab a piece of the fufu and you stick it in the meat sauce and you eat it. It's like make with gravy, and I love fufu. You know, it's one of the things I love to eat. I love fufu, but you know, I also I also used to think that my favorite genre of food would be Asian cuisine, but as I've gotten older, I love Italian food. I love authentic Italian food with made freshly pastas, freshly grated cheese, pecorino romano, parmigiano reggiano. Oh, I love Italian food, but you know it's just so hard because I love food. Food is just you know, Rhett. If I had your metabolism, I would never be able to get out of my house because I would eat myself to oblivion.
I don't actually. My metabolism is not super slow. It's just like medium, like moderate. I don't. I won't get past a certain point because my appetite at a certain point starts to match my metabolism, and I never really get over like 235 or 240, which is it doesn't look that heavy on my frame, but It is.
Oh, I love everything. I mean, the only I don't too much care for exotic foods. You know, I'll try some exotic food, but nothing that's too weird. I'm not eating bovine meatballs. My grandmother tricked me into eating fried goose balls before.
Why would
She told us that it was fried gizzards.
why would she do that? Why would she lie about that?
And then I told her she tricked us into doing it. And you know what she told me? She said those weren't goose balls, those were goat balls.
That doesn't really change it, does it?
I said that makes it worse.
It's still, you know, I
But
honestly I couldn't bear to eat any kind of testicular organ of any
me
animal at
neither.
all because the whole time I'd be thinking, I would be imagining, I'd feel it. I'd
Yeah,
feel like teeth
I would
going
feel the
into.
pain. I feel the pain.
Man, I can
And
imagine what that would feel like, and it's horrifying.
you know I guess I've eaten so many cuisines. I love Greek cuisine just like you. Uh, I love Hispanic cuisine. My grandfather-in-law, he's from Honduras, so we got to eat a lot of authentic Honduran cuisine. I remember we ate a whole goat once. They just took the goat and put it on the grill, and we ate the whole thing.
Including
They
its hair.
smoked the goat. Well, the hair was ripped off, but it looked like there was still hair on it. But I remember it was smoked, and there was so much smoke on this goat, my teeth turned blue from all the goat we ate.
Smoked goat.
Yes, it was actually quite delicious. And we had lots of fun. We used to eat fried plantains with goat cheese and goat cream, and it was delicious because goat cheese is is a little bit more creamy and more salty than cow cheese.
I just can't bear. I've never eaten it just because of the name goat cheese. I can't bear it.
You ever had pecorino or ricotta in your lasagna?
I don't know.
Chances are, if you've had Italian food, you've had goat cheese and sheep's cheese. Because if you want to if you want to make lasagna, you have to use ricotta,
I
which
don't
is
really
that
eat.
comes from the sheep.
I don't remember the last time I ate lasagna, dude. I really don't.
Oh,
So
I
I
love
can't. I don't
lasagna, but
know.
lasagna takes such a long time to prepare. It's hard. It's hard to cook. I mean, it's not hard to cook, but it takes like 100 hours to make a good quality lasagna.
I don't.
I'm 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 for any anything. I love, oh man, I can, especially when it comes to desserts. But as I've gotten older, have changed towards desserts. You know, I'm pretty sure you've had the same thing. I don't particularly care for sweet liquids anymore, particularly syrups. I don't like syrup anymore.
Yeah,
I'll
syrup
eat
is a
it.
bit much.
I'll eat it on my pancakes, but not. I don't use a lot. And you know what? My grandmother, she gave me pure cane syrup. That stuff is so dark. It's so rich. It was so sweet that I couldn't eat the pancakes at all. It was so sweet. And pure cane syrup is hard to come by. It's to get it in its purest form. It's hard to come by, but I had to give it to my brother. I could not eat it. It was so sweet, and so I sweet liquids. I'm a little bit opposed to nowadays. I can't do it. Um, Candy, not a big fan of candy anymore, particularly when it comes to solid chocolate bars. I've never been able to eat solid chocolate bars. Now,
I don't like chocolate, man.
if it has a cookie in it, or a cake in it, or peanuts or anything that's in it, okay, I can have it. But solid chocolate bars, particularly like my mother for Easter, she always buys me these big stupid ass chocolate Easter bunnies, and it's so much chocolate. It takes me like months. to eat that fucking Easter bunny. And when I'm eating like a Hershey's chocolate bar, it takes me 3 hours to eat one chocolate bar. Takes
I've
forever
never
to eat
been
a
a fan
chocolate
of
bar.
chocolate. Well,
I
you got
love
15
chocolate.
minutes until your next thing, so
Yeah,
yeah, we should
yeah,
probably
you're
wrap
right. We
this up
should.
so you can prepare for that.
Yeah, because they've actually been doing the debate through during our show. I didn't know they were going to have a debate before. I thought the debate was going to be during the panel. So you know, it's going to be on immigration. So what is there to really prepare for, right? I mean, it should be a slam dunk either way. Just get on there, speak my mind. But all right, guys, we're done here for the show here at the Story of America. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to do this during the show, but I forgot. This is the whole purpose of doing this. I was supposed to do this during the show. I'm supposed to do all this during the show, and I forgot. But like and share and follow our content. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Truth Social. Rumble. Everywhere you can find us. The Story of America of Payson Williams. The Story of America PW. Like and share our content on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everywhere that you can find us. The Story of America of Payson Williams. The Story of America PW. And